Today guys, we're going to be comparing the brand new 10F in GTA 5 to a real Audi R8 in real life. You can see them both sitting right here, and before we take a closer look at them, let's just take a quick walk around between these two vehicles. You got to admit, it looks pretty damn good. There are a few minor differences. I am going to modify the colors and the spoilers to make them look a little bit more similar in just a second, but bone stock, this is what both vehicles look like IRL and in GTA 5, and like I said in the past, props to Rockstar because that shit looks phenomenal. Anyways, I hope you go on to enjoy the video, and with that said, let's get into it. Let's start off with the front ends. The very first thing you notice is that massive grille right in the middle. In real life, it's a bit smaller, and in game, it's a little bit bigger, but it still looks very similar. Next is going to be the headlights. In GTA 5, they have this little end that sticks out a bit more, and they're also cut a bit short. And then we got the vents next to the big grille. They look the same. The ones in GTA 5 are a little bit deeper, and they also have that piece of trim going right through them, but it still looks pretty damn good. And then you take a look at the hoods. They're practically the same. Even the lining looks identical, just like on the Coke D10 and on the C8 Corvette in real life. If I had to give a rating on the front end, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10, because it looks practically identical except for a few minor details. Now let's take a look at the side profiles. Literally the only noticeable difference is that piece of trim going down the door on the GTA 5 version of the car. If it wasn't for that, the cars would look identical and get a 10 out of 10 rating on the sides. Obviously, I'm going to give them a 9 out of 10 for this, but the only reason they had to put that there is for copyright purposes. If they didn't, it would look identical to the one in real life. The only other difference is there's no gas cap, I guess, on that one piece of trim near the window. Other than that, though, it is absolutely flawless, and I think they did an amazing job. So once again, the side profiles get a solid 9 out of 10 rating. Now let's talk about the rears of the vehicles. They do look very similar, but there are a lot of little differences. The very first thing is going to be the taillights. They look like they were flipped horizontally and then flipped vertically. And then when you look at the rest of the rear of the car, obviously the spoilers are the same, which is pretty great. The vents are a little bit different in game. They're a little bit bigger and more defined, when in real life it looks like one big vent, but if you look closely, you can see it is still about the same shape. And then when you look lower down, the diffusers are a little bit different, the exhaust placement is a little bit different. I have to say it still looks pretty good. And then you look at the engine bay, and we even have the roll bars over top of the engine, and the engines also look practically the exact same as well. Overall, the rear is done very well, but I feel like they could have done a bit better of a job on it. When you compare how the side profiles looked and how the front of both cars looked, and then you compare it to the rear, those two deserve 9 out of 10 ratings. I have to say the rear deserves an 8 out of 10. It does look really good, but I feel like it could have been a little bit better. The real-life model of the R8 gave me an option to actually put a wide-body kit on there, so I popped it on, and I have to say it looks pretty damn similar as well. There isn't really too much to talk about there. As long as the wide body lines up with the wheels, it's pretty much perfect. And I have to say, it looks really good. The one in real life obviously has that wide-body kit popping out a little bit more, but I have to say, it still looks pretty damn good compared to the GTA 5 version. At the end of the day, the GTA 5 version of the R8 looks phenomenal, and it does look very similar to the real version of the R8. Overall, I would give it like a solid 8.8 out of 10, just because that rear end, I feel like it could have been done a little bit better, and there were a couple other very minor things that just threw me off a bit. But overall, at the end of the day, you put both vehicles side by side, and they look practically identical. It's only if you actually take a really close look at both of them, you'll notice some of those differences. Anyways, that is pretty much going to wrap the video up for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe. With that said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.